Welcome to Art Ed Radio, the podcast for art teachers. This show is produced by the Art of Education, and I'm your host, Tim Bogatz. All right, guys, welcome to 2018. We are going to start the new year with something a little bit different. We're going to answer some listener questions. We're going to go through the listener mailbag, and Andrew is here with me already. Andrew, how are you?
Oh, man, I'm good. 2018. Woo! Yeah.
That sounded like some really false excitement. I don't know if you're as thrilled.
I know this might shock you. I'm not a big celebration guy. There's like too much pressure. Like, hey, it's your birthday. Have a great one. I'm like, it's a Tuesday. Like, let's not get out of control here. Like, it's just a day, you know?
So on New Year's Day, you're not thrilled about it being Monday, and you're not partying it
Nope. All that stuff is for amateurs, man. I just slow and steady. Just every day, I want it to be the same.
Fair enough. Well, you want every day to be the same, but we're doing kind of a crazy episode
That's
here
true.
and answering a bunch of listener questions. So maybe I'm breaking you out of your shell.
A little
Maybe
bit.
that's
A little
good.
bit.
So, all right, you ready to dive in? We got a lot to get through.
Yeah, man.
Here.
Yeah, totally. Hit me with them.
Okay, cool. So we're starting off easy. This question comes from Jennifer Watson. Pretty simple one. Happy New Year. What are you guys doing for your New Year's resolutions?
Do you want to answer that one first?
Oh man, I don't usually do New Year's resolutions, so that's kind of a tough one for me. But one thing that I'm thinking about doing, I've got it in my mind that I might want to run another marathon.
You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy.
I know, right? Like all of my better judgment tells me don't do this again. Because, I did it a couple years ago. I was not fast whatsoever, but, I knocked it out, and I can say I've run a marathon before. And, as I finished it, I thought to myself, never again. But, the last couple months here, I've been kind of getting the itch. I've been running a little bit more. I've been out, working out a little bit more, and I'm thinking about it. So I don't know if that counts as a resolution or if I'm even going to follow through, but that's kind of something I've been playing with. So it's a possibility. So what about you?
Yeah, that was also my answer, but I don't want to run a marathon.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, I don't want to run a marathon. That's just ridiculous. But I could definitely stand to get back into the fitness swing. I was doing a good job there for 3-4 years. And then, man, just life happens and your kids get busy and you volunteer for stuff and you coach this and you volunteer for that. And it's like, there's certain days where I'm like, all I've eaten is cookies. Like that is just obscene, and
yeah.
I'll say some comments to my students sometimes like, man, I should really get in shape. And like, oh, Ms. McCormick, you're so skinny. It helps that I'm tall, but it's just, 200 plus pounds of goo. There's not a single muscle in my body. So, I probably got to start getting fit. I'm not getting any younger. I don't normally do resolutions either because they're just bound to fail. But there was one year right around when my youngest kid, Oliver, was born. I was like, I'm going to make a comic book, and I'm going to make a comic book that's all about giving things up. And I wanted to, I made like a couple of them, and they were like zines, like really tiny things. And I called it 12 Months of No. And every month I was going to give up a new thing. So like the first month was no caffeine, which was really hard. Like that was the worst. Yeah. And then it was like no TV, no biting my fingernails because I have a nasty habit of biting my fingernails. I did a really good job. I made it all the way through like the 9th month of giving things up. And a lot of the things, like once I gave them up, I didn't like take them back up again. So I went like 9 months without having any coffee, which is like ridiculous. My students sometimes ask me like, Ms. McCormick, how much coffee do you drink? And I go, I usually have about 2 to 3 pots a day. And they're like, what? Oh my God. I'm like, I just I don't drink water if it's not in the form of coffee. So maybe that should be my New Year's resolution, to not drink as much coffee. I don't know.
That sounds reasonable at this point if you're drinking that much.
Yeah, man. I love it. It's my favorite.
Oh, cool. Okay, next question. This one came in from Don Massey, who you and I both know pretty well. He's been on the show before, but kind of a fun one. If you guys could make art from any type of food, what would it be?
Oh, I know the answer to this one. My first instinct was pancakes, and I was like, that's so unoriginal because there's like how many different like famous pancake artists that draw crazy pictures in pancakes. But no, like I actually really love decorating cakes with my wife. Like we do it every year. She all of our kids, we have 3 kids, and they all have like winter birthdays. So it's like 2 weeks before Christmas, then Christmas, and then 2 weeks after Christmas, and then my birthday, and then it's like 2 weeks after is my daughter's birthday. And we usually go like all out, like making these like ginormous, elaborate cakes. So I'll just stay there because that's kind of my jam. It's like sculptural, and we, put fondant on everything, and it's fun. So
I can buy that. I can buy cake as art, but I may need you to help me brainstorm with this. My first thought was just sculpture out of some sort of giant like lump of food, like mashed potatoes was my first thought. Like I would love to sculpt with mashed potatoes, and then my mind kind of went to my art history professor in college. He had a sculpture in his basement that was made out of lard.
Oh.
Like, yeah, disgusting, right? And the best part about it is, it couldn't like have any direct light, and it couldn't, be out of this like temperature control because the lard just like melts and gets disgusting. So he has this sculpture that has to be like kept in the basement in the dark, and it's made of lard, which is disgusting, but also kind of fascinating. Like I think I might enjoy sculpting with lard.
Well,
or
no, Tim, I'm gonna stop. No, I'm gonna stop you right there because. Man, sculptors are weird. That's what my MFA is in, and I've done a lot of work where I'd have, food and found object, like food as found object and like installations and stuff. And man, like critters, that's all I gotta say. Like you put your sculpture away, and then like 3 months later, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get out. Oh, this pile of like mouse turds, like awesome. Yeah. So. Yeah, Don is weird. I'm not gonna hang out with Don anymore. I don't want to answer any more of his questions.
Wow, that took a dark turn really quickly.
He's just bringing up all sorts of like memories I tried to suppress.
I know, repressed memories from it. Yeah. Okay. All right. The next question comes from another friend of the pod, Amber Kane, who's been on here before. What made you both decide that you wanted to be art teachers? And what is your why for teaching?
Well, I mean, I've said it before, but mine's just like, connecting with kids and, seeing that spark and seeing that connection when you really connect with a kid. And, when a kid comes up to you, it's just like, Ms. McCormick, I'm so thankful that like you're my teacher and I love coming to your class. Like that's what it's all about, man. I probably knew 9th grade, 10th grade, this is what I wanted to do. I'm like in, in high school, I'm probably a weird person that I knew early on. That's what I wanted to do. I loved art and I love, I don't know. I think it's taken me a long time to realize like, I just really love service. Like I love, kind of being there for other people. That's kind of like a weird, like, I don't know, like a high almost I get, like just kind of volunteering and being there for people. Is pretty awesome, and it's a good mix of that. It's creative, and it's being there for people.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I think my why is kind of the same reason, just those connections that you get with kids and the feeling that you're making a difference in people's lives, which, you're kind of talking about right there. My original inspiration actually came from having a terrible art teacher in high school. And I think I've talked about this before, but, my sophomore year, like I was in art class and I wanted to love it so badly, but I couldn't because my teacher was literally the worst teacher I had in all of my years of school. And so I just started thinking to myself, like, I can do so much better than this. Like, how can you make kids hate art? And I really wanted to be able to make kids love art. And so same with me, like sophomore year of high school, I knew this is what I want to do. And I wanted to be better than that. And, I think I accomplished that, but, I think that was the original reason for me getting into it. But like you said, just making the difference is really the why, and making those connections.
Let me ask you a weird question, because I think we have kind of a similar background. I didn't really get along that well with my high school art teacher either, and that was kind of an initial inspiration too for me. But do you ever, as a teacher, like hear, I don't know if this was a male teacher or a female teacher, his or her words or something that they taught you kind of come back, even despite the fact that you're like, oh, I don't like that person, or they didn't do a good job. You're still like, but yeah, they really did teach me how to use a blending stump really well. And now I'm using that with my own students. Have you ever had any moments like that?
I have not. Like I've had some of those horrible flashbacks where, like, I wanted to enter something in an art show, and she like forced me to change the title of it, and just stupid crap like that. And so, I catch myself like, oh yeah, don't do that. Or, maybe in the opposite way, rather than appreciating what's, what they may have taught me. It's more of a sort of a warning, like, hey, remember this? Don't do it that way. It's been helpful, maybe not in the positive way that you're thinking about, but still kind of guides what you're doing.
Yeah. It's like cautionary teaching. You were taught some things, kind of what not to do. So yeah, it's good.
All right, cool. Next question is from Catherine Campbell. Or KJ Makes It on Instagram. What do you wish kids came to you with from elementary art? Would you rather they are knowing or experiencing a little bit of everything without mastery of any one thing? Or would you rather they have a level of mastery with a select few media or concepts? She says, as an elementary art teacher, I always feel torn since some of my students won't take art after elementary. So where do you come down with that?
Wow, that's a good question. I actually think I sometimes fluctuate, because I've had classes where I'm just like, wow, man, I wish their skill set was so much better, because I was not expecting them to not know all of this stuff. And I want to be fair to all the elementary teachers I've ever worked with. I know for a fact this stuff has been taught. Like when a ninth grader says they don't know how to make orange paint, like, come on. Right? Like that is taught early on. Yeah. It's just not retained. So then it kind of becomes, well, was that meaningful to that person? So I don't know. I still think I fall in the camp of like, I just want my students to feel empowered and emboldened and kind of ready to just create, and that creative mindset versus like sort of like a laundry list of skill sets. I would probably take that any day of the week.
I'm with you on that. I want my kids to be open-minded. I want them to be excited about new things. I want them to be willing to try new ideas. So, if they have experienced a little bit of everything, I would much rather have that. And, just kind of diving in a couple more points on that. I don't think, kids are going to master anything at the elementary level. Like, that's something that comes with being passionate and putting in a lot of work. And, you can't put the hours in, as you're 11 years old. Like you can't get to that mastery level. So I'd rather kids experience a lot and be in love with art and just be willing to try things, because I can teach them skills. Like I can teach them how to shade. I can teach them how to blend. I can teach them how to mix colors. But, I really need them to have that mindset that appreciates new ideas and appreciates, the chance to try new things.
Yeah, I want to take back my answer, because I want my answer to sound more like yours. Because you said it really well. And I was thinking like how many kids I've butted heads with this semester where it's like, I can't do that. I'm not good at that. That is something I don't do. So I'm not going to listen to you because I know I can't do that. And it's just this like kind of close-minded, I either have the talent or I don't. And that has been really frustrating to work with kids. I was like, listen, like you said, I just need you to be coachable. And I need you to believe that you can get better, because if you don't believe that you can get better, you're absolutely right. You're not going to get better, and you're going to continue to be bad at this. So like, do you want to get better at this? Yes. Well, then you need to like believe that you can, right? And I think that actually flies in the face of what a lot of, I think, educators want to give their kids, which is like, you are now proficient. You have reached mastery level.
Mm-hmm.
And then a kid feels like, well, I'm done. I've reached this level of
Yes.
mastery. And it's like, no, like there's really no such thing. And I've been saying this a lot to my classes, and they kind of like scoff and think that it should be like a bumper sticker or something. And I know I didn't come up with it. I probably saw it on Twitter. I hate the notion of perfection. And I tell them like that notion of perfect art and perfection is like so overrated. And I tell them why, and we talk about growth mindset. And I say, forget practice makes perfect, practice makes progress. And I talk to them about just like always be willing to progress, because if you're thinking about being perfect, you're never going to be there, and you're going to be frustrated, and you're never going to want to try to like progress at something and get better. So I say that one a lot. And if I had kids come to me in like 8th grade, 9th grade, and like, I'm not good at this, but I want to get better, I'd be like, I love you. Like, you're an amazing student.
Yes.
And like, I'm excited to work with you.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. See, now your answer is back to being better than my answer. So, all right.
Awesome.
So are you satisfied? Do you feel like we can move on now?
We can move on now. Yes.
All right. Next question is from Heidi Murray. I don't know if you are in this situation or not, but you're pretty good at thinking on your feet here, so we'll send it your way. How do people plan for high school elective classes? I end up with multiple grade levels within one class, and students' skill levels range from basic to advanced. How do you collect individual data? How do you teach for that? How do you track growth in that kind of situation?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean,
you want me to take it real quick?
I do.
Or you get?
Yeah, go ahead, and I'll kind of think of some things. Go ahead.
All right, you organize your thoughts for just a second. You don't even have to listen.
I won't. I'm not going to.
Not that you listen to me anyway. But no, I think the biggest thing you can do for all your kids is to show growth. You need to have portfolios. Whether it's just a handful of works, whether it's 18 works, whatever the case may be. I think it's important for kids to show their growth. I think it's important for them to work in sketchbooks or visual journals so they can kind of develop that process, and you can kind of track them with, their growth from one stage to the next, whether it be with, studio habits or with specific skills or with knowledge or vocabulary, whatever it may be. Just make sure that you're keeping records and have kids keep all their work together. And it makes it easy for them to reflect on what's happening in their classroom. It makes it easy for them to kind of see where they're growing, and it makes it easier for you to track it as well. So whether it is through sketchbooks or just keeping work around or developing a portfolio, I think that's a really good way to show and track growth. And then I think as far as working with multiple grade levels or, working with in particular, like skill sets, I think you just need to have your lessons open-ended enough to allow for differentiation where, if you're working with a theme, or if you're working with something that's a little more open-ended, kids can develop their ideas, they can develop their skills at all kinds of different paces. Like kids can still meet objectives, they can still sort of plan what they want their work to be. And their planning may be at different levels, their technical skill may be at different levels. But if you allow for enough differentiation, I think you can make that work pretty well.
Yep, that would be my answer too. Yep, that was good.
You're supposed to be thinking of your own answer.
No, I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is just like, well, you have to stay flexible. I like that you brought up the practical tip of portfolios, whatever that looks like. And the only thing I would add to that is I think one of the ways to show student growth is have student reflections in there. So whether they're writing about it, artist statements, they're pre-planning stuff. But I mean, I can't say it any better when it comes to like offering up open-ended enough and divergent enough projects that your beginning level students to your advanced students feel like they've got the leeway and wiggle room to like make something that offers up enough, I'm blanking on the word that I use all the time, like resistance, right? I often draw parallels of all things between like artwork and weightlifting. And when a kid is like, oh, is this good enough? I want to take like the easy way out. I'm like, hey man, like this is like you waking up early, getting dressed to go to the gym, driving to the gym, and then lifting 1 pound weights. Like, why would you cheat yourself the ability to like get resistance? And I think when you have open-ended projects like that, your advanced students can try some things that are tough, and your, beginning students can also try something that's tough. It's just going to look a little different.
And I think the reflection part is a really important piece there too. So cool. All right. We're going to go back to an easy question now.
Tough one.
Hey, this is from Randy Copeland. What is your one essential supply in your art room? What do you have in your room that you cannot live without?
Masking tape. That's my favorite thing.
Oh,
I use that all the time.
Okay, give me a quick top 5 or top 10 list. What do you use masking tape for?
Oh, I mean, so I teach a adaptive art class, art class for students who have some severe and profound disabilities. We do a lot of resist with that stuff, so taping things off, painting around it. We hold things down, I use it as a sculptural material if I'm doing armature stuff. It's just kind of like a jack of all trades. That's only 3 though. I realize maybe I don't do as much as I thought.
That's okay. Yeah. No, because I didn't even think about it, but as soon as he said masking tape, I was like, oh yeah, just because it comes up so often. There's so many things that you can and will use it for. So that's a good one. I was just going to say my essential is a really nice, like high quality set of colored pencils.
Yeah.
Like I love teaching my kids colored pencil drawing. I really, really, take pride in how well my kids can do that. And it's, my sort of art of choice as well, my media of choice. So I love having really nice colored pencils around just because they allow, like when you have high quality stuff, it really allows for some amazing work. And the difference between high quality and low quality colored pencils is so pronounced that I think you need to have those nice ones. So that's my essential, I think.
Yeah, good answer. But gosh, we could not be any more different, because like, as soon as you said that, a little bit of me died, because I'm just like, oh gosh, colored pencils. I feel like I'm so bad at teaching them, and I reluctantly get them out because I imitate my students when I bring it out. I was like, guys, I want you to be really careful because I know what you're going to do. You're going to look at these things. You're like, I know you guys. I know colored pencils. And then they just start drawing like, they're in 2nd grade when they're like 9th and 10th graders. I'm like, why are we scribbling? Like, what are we doing? And I try to model it. And I'm just like, forget it. We're doing chalk pastels. I'm putting these away. Chalk pastels. So I don't know. I need to watch you teach colored pencils, man, because I'm kind of not so great at it.
Weren't you just talking a minute ago about challenging yourself and resistance and grit? And okay,
yeah. You caught me.
We'll let that go.
You caught me. I'm a big hypocrite.
We can talk about colored pencils another time. One last question, though, to close out the mailbag. Ooh, this is a tough one. All right, this is from Shay Thomas. Who inspires you? Where do you draw inspiration from, or what makes you want to become a better teacher?
Well, I mean, it's kind of easy and it's kind of cheesy, but it's my students. I think about, I have a bunch of students this year who, man, they don't have like an easy life, and they've, at the age of 16, 17, 18, they've dealt with more challenges than I have and that I would ever want to. And I see these kids come to school every day and battle through just BS, like dumb assignments that, their teachers are making them do, and the interpersonal drama of high school and middle school. I'm like, you guys are some strong SOBs, and like, I love you guys and you're awesome. So, I mean, I draw a lot of inspiration from kids like that, kids that I know need an advocate and a champion. And they kind of keep me going. We kind of talked about that. What inspires you to come back and to be engaged? And it's my students, and I think that's the best form of inspiration. Otherwise, why would we do this job? Because it's like ridiculously tough.
Like you mentioned, we just talked last week about, what keeps you coming back. And absolutely your kids do. I mean, that's what makes me want to be a better teacher, is those connections with kids, being able to see them develop, being able to see them, become better people. And I think that that's a wonderful thing. As far as, just inspiration for teaching, I love seeing what other teachers are doing, whether that be through Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, or just reading what teachers are writing about on their blogs. That's always really inspiring to me. Even people like Melissa Pertee and Ian Sands, who, both used to write for AOE. I'm never going to teach anything like they teach. Like, our pedagogies are so different, but they always inspire me to think about what I'm doing, and they always inspire me to reflect and to be a better teacher. And so, I think seeing those sort of differing viewpoints and reflecting on what you're doing because of that, I think is really inspirational to me. And that always makes me want to become a better teacher as well. So quick shout out to those two, and, everybody else who's writing about what they're doing, sharing what they're doing in their classroom, because I think it is really inspirational to see what teachers across the country are doing.
Well put, man. Well put.
Cool. I think that's going to wrap it up. We've been talking for a really long time, but I enjoy answering all these questions, and it's been a good time. So, Andrew, thank you for joining me. And we'll talk to you again soon.
My pleasure, man. Talk to you later.
Big thanks to Andrew for hanging out and answering some questions, and thank you to all of you who wrote in with some questions. My apologies if we didn't get to yours, but we obviously receive a lot of them and we can't answer everything. But hopefully we can do another one of these episodes soon. I also want to tell you before we go about one of our awesome sponsors for the Art Ed Now conference, Art to Remember. They are helping us bring all of the amazing presenters to you, and they are putting some really nice materials for you in the swag box. Now, if you haven't worked with Art to Remember before, it is hands down the easiest fundraiser you can run in an art classroom. They send you the paper you need, there's no cost for shipping work, and they send you all of the products already organized for you. And if you need lesson ideas, there are a ton on their website. You also see a good lesson from Alicia Kazmarek at the Art Ed Now conference. And honestly, when my own kids are doing a fundraiser like this, it doesn't even feel like a fundraiser. Like, I'm excited to see what I can get, and I love to see what kind of stuff they bring home. My daughter has a water bottle she loves with her own artwork on it, and my son got me some luggage tags with his work on it for when I'm traveling to conferences and video shoots. They are amazing. So if you're looking for a fundraiser, Art to Remember is the place to start. If you're curious or haven't done one before, there's a profit calculator on their website where you can enter a few stats and estimate how much you'll earn. And if you fill out their Get Started form or email them, they can put together a sample schedule and send sample products and materials for you. So make sure you check them out at arttoremember.com. That is all for us today. Thanks for sitting through a lot of mailbag questions. I hope it was entertaining. Next week, I will be back with Molly Wisty, and we will talk about how you follow a legendary teacher. I hope you can join us, and Happy New Year. Art Ed Radio is produced by The Art of Education with audio engineering from Michael Crocker. Remember that you can sign up for our email list at artedradio.com. We always love to hear from you, so send us your questions for the next mailbag episode and comments and anything else you want to share at radioguys@theartofed.com. Thanks for listening, and like I said, we will be back with Molly Wisty next week. We'll talk to you then.